Well, it just keeps raining, but today I'm gonna just work through it and get this hole a bit deeper. Might not finish today, but it's worth cracking on. Otherwise I get the feeling it's not gonna happen. I'm sure it will, but it's been pretty bad. So gonna make the most of a dry morning. Rain by 12, they reckon, and it's just gone 9, so should get a bit done. Well, that's pretty physical stuff, but we're getting down. We're getting the sort of size of the hole that we need now, but we definitely need to go down another 6 inches or so from the lowest point that I'm at, and probably take out a bit at the sides. So I'm going to go on to something else just to give myself a bit of a break, but it's going well. I've been thinking about how to move this galvanized steel tank out of this area so that I can start to work on this bank. And I've had a few good suggestions in the comments, so thanks to everybody who's done that. But I've been thinking, the Romans, they moved some pretty big blocks, didn't they? And they sort of rolled it on tree trunks. So I was thinking maybe these stakes, if I laid them out at the base and just got the edge up and poured it onto them, I may be able to roll it out of the way. It may be a disaster, but I'm going to give it a go. Let's see. They could well break, but I'm still going to give it a go. Ha 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 ha, success. That's quite interesting under there. I'll show you. So we wonder where all the slugs go during the winter. And it's places like this. Egg clusters here in lots of different places. And obviously they're protected from the really cold temperature under there. And I'll just get rid of those. But we're into the bank area and I can start thinking about moving some of this out. Oh, there's a bear. I think that one's probably had it. Right, well that's the slug's eggs gone. That'll save a few more cabbages next year, and we'll get on and see if we can take some of this away. First of all, I need to get rid of the bird hanger. Now this old scaffolding pole has been in here as long as I've been on the plot. I don't think it's going to go anywhere until I can get all the soil out, so I'm not going to wrestle with it. And this is the wooden box that I made for the lavender, and the base has gone rotten on this one. We'll see what it's like on the rest as we go through, and that's probably not good for anything but the bin. I'd forgotten that under here was clay as well. It's going to be a job, this, but one worth doing. It's going to take me some time. So I've got a few things to cope with here. This construction was held in by some pins. I put in some iron spikes and they're going to have to get those out. We've got this layer of weed suppressant which I put in on the bottom of the trough, and then we've got some less effective weed suppressant underneath that, and I remember that didn't work very well, and that's why I put the other on the top. So we've got quite a few layers to sort out, and we've got another iron spike in here. So I need to get rid of these and just work my way up. I think that's the best way, and we'll do a bit at a time. Well, they came out relatively easy with a bit of a hit from that hammer, and you can see in just a short space of time I filled a barrow, and that's going to go down by the compost levelling area. And I've had a look at this wood plank and you can see it's already completely rotten, so I don't think they're going to serve any purpose, but they're going to come out. And I've decided that I'm going to work my way through the trough, and then when I take this other piece of wood out, I'll be able to move this remaining wall of grass fairly easily because it'll be isolated. So that's the plan, and it's probably going to take many weeks, but it's underway. So this remaining half of this raised bed has got turnips in it, and the turnips are getting pretty sizable, and I had this illusion really that they were going to be like swede, but we've tried them and they're too fibrous and not really pleasant to eat. So I'm going to take them out and cover the bed up, get this one sorted, and just get these out, and they'll either go in the compost bin, or if certainly the chickens will eat the leaves, I'll give them a chance to do that first. So I'll show you what we're dealing with. Get the bricks off. This net can come off completely then and go away for the season, and I'll cover the whole bed up once I've put some mulch onto the surface. It'll probably need a fairly quick weed, but not too much. Right, let's get the net off. Put that aside. So let's have a look. Here's a good example. Now it looks so much like a swede, perhaps a little bit whiter around the base, but believe me, it doesn't make good eating. So out they come. and there's probably about 8 in here. And I've got some more turnips coming on that I planted late in the season, and they should be ready, I think, by about Christmas, which would be timely. There we go. They came out very easily. And in here we've got a few perennial weeds. I'm going to dig those out, take the grass out. And this is in really good order. So a little bit of minor weeding and then some compost. This is a dock and it's going to take a little bit more getting the root out, so I'm going to get a trowel before I ever go at that. Didn't get all the root, but got most of it. Okay, there we go. I'll leave these hoops in. They don't rust, they're galvanized steel, and there's no better place to store them than where I'm going to use them next year. So I think we need a barrow full of compost, and I'll be breaking into one of the new bins. See how it goes. Well, it's incredibly wet down here. It's like being in a mud bath. But this compost is looking good. It's still got a fair amount of couch grass in it, but that's par for the course. We're still going to use every last drop of it and take the couch grass out as we go, which is really easy. It's amazing to think that this compost bin was about this high when I covered it over for the final time last January, February time. And here we are now in November, and there's about a foot, 18 inches of compost to be had. But there's plenty for my needs, and it's all good stuff. That really is a little bit too much, but I'm not going to worry about it. It will rot down a little bit more over the winter months, and yeah, it's just about right really. We'll get that covered up and then it's good to go, ready for next season. Looks a bit short on this end. There we go. And just fold this flap over. I think I'll stick it over. Ideally it needs to go under, but we'll see how we go. Well, I've been looking at this beetroot bed, and in reality there's only half a dozen beetroots in here. So in the interest of moving on, I think I'm going to take them out and we'll cook them at home, and I'll get this bed covered too. Why not? Well, there's something very satisfying about covering up the beds, which is ironic seeing that it's all about growing. But given that those beds are now rejuvenated, or will be by spring, all the way along, you know you're investing in the next season's growth. And we've got a nice group of beetroot there to take home, the last of the season. That'd be really nice to have those for lunch and dinner over the next couple of days. So we've now got 2, 4, 5 beds covered out of the 8, and the remaining ones are swede, which will go on for a fair while yet. Plenty of celeriac, which we're taking from now regularly, and as they release the beds, so I'll cover them up. And the compost is doing well. I'm sort of getting the feeling I'm not going to use it all, which will be unusual, but then I've put so much on these beds over the last couple of years that I guess they're getting to the point where the height is quite significant, so I just have to back off on how much compost I use. So the beds that are over here, I've only composted one of them, or 1.5. So there's a date in the diary for the not too distant future to have a big batch of cheesy leeks, and that gets rid of half of those leeks, and then I can cover half of that bed over, and then the rest will see us through the winter months. So I might just have another go at that pond before I finish. Well, we're getting closer with every bit of effort, but there's still a way to go. So I'll carry on with this on another day and give me some exercise at another time. In the meantime, I need to be a bit careful with the grass. Just a bit of work I've been doing today is churning it up. It's so wet. I'll show you. So I've got myself bit of a track now, really. I just need to be sure I don't churn this up too much, otherwise the winter work becomes very difficult indeed, and this is beginning to look pretty messy. So it's about doing a bit at a time and just letting the grass recover, even taking the wheelbarrow down here, and I'm grateful that it's downhill from that spot. And you can see where I covered the grass with that polythene for a while, but just the wheelbarrow on top of it is not helping much. And just to give you an idea how wet it is down here, it's literally like a bog. So I need to take care that I don't churn it up to the point where it's not workable, but it's been a good day and I've got a lot done. Very satisfying. I do hope you enjoyed the video today. If you did, click the subscribe button, click the like button, and if you want updates from me each time I upload a video, click the bell and select all. I do hope you have a great day. Diolch yn fawr.